Hello everybody, I am Jay Shady, the voice of reason, and it is time to talk about WrestleMania 13. This is the last WrestleMania that I have not seen in my life. So now that I have seen WrestleMania 13, I have officially seen every WrestleMania that ever existed. So let's talk about this one. WrestleMania 13. Technically, it's a bad show, but personally and for, childhood memory things, I didn't find this show horrible, and I kind of actually enjoyed it, I guess. This didn't have much good things on this card. It had one really epic match, but it didn't really have good things. But just the fact that this card had so many childhood superstars that I grew up with and childhood favorites, it was just entertaining to see that. It was entertaining to see all the pieces of the Attitude Era, them having all the pieces. They didn't have them in place yet, but it was awesome seeing them have all the pieces ready. In 1 year's time, they would definitely have them all in place, but because this WrestleMania just really showed you like how the Attitude Era was this close to happening, I gotta say I kind of enjoyed this show, much more than people who, don't love the Attitude Era as much as I do and didn't grow up with it. For that personal childhood, memory type reasons is why I didn't find this to be a horrible show. Though I understand why people would say it's one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. That being said, let's go into this card. You had the first match, the Headbangers versus the New Blackjacks versus the Godwins versus Doug Furnas and Phil LaFon. This was a 4-way tag team match. The winners would be the number one contenders for the tag team championship. This wasn't a good match, I'll admit that, but I didn't hate it. This match gets a lot of shit on some reviews, I think more shit than it should. But, I didn't hate it. It was awesome seeing the Headbangers again, reminded me of my childhood days, growing up watching the Headbangers doing the spit in the air and catching it in your mouth thing. That's disgusting, yeah, I know, but whatever. But yeah, this match was a little messy at times, but it definitely did get good towards the end when it was just the Headbangers left and the Godwins. Basically, the Headbangers get the win with a seated senton, so they become number one contenders. So yeah, this match wasn't good, but for me, it wasn't horrible, and I kind of enjoyed it, I guess, because it just reminded me of that, the Attitude Era is almost here. You just have to wait one more WrestleMania to finally get it. So yeah, I didn't hate it. I kind of enjoyed it. Then you get this is Intercontinental Championship match. The Sultan versus some jobber named Rocky Maivia. What the fuck ever happened to this guy? Did he die or something? I never heard of this guy again. But yeah, Rocky Maivia. Oh man, I could understand why everybody fucking hated Rocky Maivia. I mean, really, a lot of kudos and a lot of respect and appreciation and, congrats to The Rock for becoming The Rock. Because with Rocky Maivia, nobody just wanted this shit. It was just that one-dimensional good guy superhero character that everybody was just, all the crowd was like, you're full of shit, The crowd was, this society, this era, it was like the Nirvana youth. They were becoming disillusioned. No more, they didn't want this one-dimensional good guy, bad guy shit. There was a lot more gray rather than black and white. And Rocky Maivia was a representation of the 80s. Something that they have already seen, something that they were tired of. And that's what you get today, You're getting the same 80s style superhero booking like with John Cena, Randy Orton, Sheamus. But we already saw this shit, You have to go somewhere else to somewhere we didn't see. That's why everybody was having a problem, before the Attitude Era with these type of characters. And that's why everybody's going to eventually have a problem with this shit today. Enough is enough. But yeah, this wasn't a good match. Rocky Maivia was just getting beat up for the whole match. Then he hulked up or did the 5 moves of doom towards the end, I guess, and did the crossbody to get the win on the Sultan. Then the Sultan, Bob Backlund, and Iron Sheik are beating Rocky Maivia down, and Rocky's father, Rocky Johnson, comes to make the save, and they clean house. So Hulk Hogan type bullshit. Blah. Then you get, and not a good match. Then you get Hunter Hearst Helmsley with Chyna. So it was awesome seeing Chyna in her first WrestleMania. And, the Hunter Hearst Helmsley, almost the DX, Hunter Hearst Helmsley that we would get soon, versus Goldust with Terry Runnels. And I liked this match. I thought it was a good match, but it could have been a lot better if this match was shorter. A lot of these matches on this card could have been a lot shorter, and you could have had more matches on the card with shorter match duration, because you had 7 matches on this card. You could have definitely put more. But yeah, this match was good and really good in some spots. I thought these guys worked really well together. But a lot of this dragged on in the middle just because they had so much time. Way too much time for just a regular singles match. But I definitely liked the ending. Goldust was going for the curtain call, but Chyna's having like a argument with Terry Runnels. Goldust goes to save Terry Runnels, and they're both on the ring apron. Hunter Hearst Helmsley knocks Terry Runnels off the ring apron. Chyna catches her, and she's throwing Terry Runnels around like a rag doll. That was just so fucking awesome and epic, and Chyna. And then Triple H does the pedigree and gets the win on Goldust. So I liked the match. I liked seeing Hunter Hearst Helmsley and Chyna. Also Goldust. I thought it could have been a lot shorter though, and would have really helped this match to be good or even great. Then you got Owen Hart and the British Bulldog versus Mankind and Vader for the Tag Team Championship. This was another match that went way too long. Too many slow spots just because they had so much time. But again, you had Mankind in here, Owen Hart, British Bulldog, Vader. So many childhood favorites. Throughout this WrestleMania, yeah, you had bad shit, but I never got bored with it because I was watching shit that I grew up with. It was like a trip down memory lane, nostalgia, But this match also had really good moments, but it ended kind of stupid with a double countout. Mankind did the mandible claw to British Bulldog outside the ring, and they counted to 10, and that was it. Didn't like the ending, but, it wasn't horrible. It was an okay match, but I kind of enjoyed it because of the talent involved. Give me 1 second. Alright, next you got the match of the night easily. The submission match. Arguably the greatest WrestleMania match in history. Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin with Ken Shamrock as special guest referee. This, according to me, this is Bret Hart and Stone Cold in that feud with Bret Hart coming back and, the fans turning on him and him turning on the fans kind of and cursing out Vince McMahon and blowing tantrums in the ring and Stone Cold, feuding with him. This, to me, was the start of the Attitude Era. I know Attitude Era officially started in WrestleMania 14 when Stone Cold beat Shawn Michaels, but this was the Attitude Era. This was just as good as anything you would get in the Attitude Era. This was just real TV. You felt that this was deeper than just a scripted show. This was getting personal. And this match just displayed that perfectly. This match was incredible. This was a year ahead of its time because this is how the best Attitude Era matches looked like. It looks just like this. Before this match, you never saw anything like this in WWF on the WrestleMania stage. They started brawling in the crowd. They brought it to ringside. You had chairs involved. You had a ring bell involved. You had choking with a cable, a wire involved. Stone Cold bleeding buckets, a great blade job by Stone Cold, and the epic ending with Bret Hart doing the sharpshooters of Stone Cold, and Stone Cold won't give up, he won't submit, and he's lifting up off the mat, trying to reverse the sharpshooter and screaming, ah, and you see all the blood rushing down. For people that say that blood does not add to the product and you do not need blood, I understand, blood, you don't need it in every match. But here, could you imagine the ending of this match without the blood, without seeing Stone Cold drenched in blood, screaming in agony? It would just take away one of the greatest elements of this match. This is why blood does help out the product and does, enhance the enjoyment. I mean, it's realistic. When two guys are beating the shit out of each other, you're supposed to bleed. This is probably the greatest use of blood I've ever seen. And this match was just so perfect on every aspect. And then you had, Stone Cold passing out. You didn't have him submit, so he looked strong, but Bret Hart wins because Stone Cold passed out. And then you had the greatest double turn right there, right on the spot. You had Bret Hart beating Stone Cold post-match. And then Ken Shamrock gets behind Bret Hart and does a belly-to-back takedown. Right there, you have Bret Hart officially turn heel. You have Stone Cold become a fan favorite. And you have Ken Shamrock become a face and start his way to becoming an Impact player in the WWF. Right there, you paved the way for 3 of these guys, careers during the build-up to the Attitude Era. I mean, perfect match. What this match did to set up the Attitude Era, to set up the future television for the WWF, you cannot praise this match enough. This match was perfect on every level, every aspect. There wasn't a dull moment in this match. This was as good of an Attitude Era match you will ever get. And, Just that double turn, that face turn, that heel turn. That's what WWE doesn't do today. They don't do turns like that, like on the point, like impactful turns. Now it's just like gradual, stupid, boring shit that doesn't make sense. This was one of the best turns I've ever seen, and it happened two ways: Stone Cold turning face, Bret Hart turning heel. Epic match. Then you get, right after this, the Legion of Doom and Ahmed Johnson versus the Nation of Domination. Nation Domination, one of the most underrated factions of all time. They were great. You really don't hear people talk about them enough. But yeah, I gotta say, it was a Chicago street fight. I gotta say, I didn't really enjoy this match that much. Too much happening, just too much mayhem happening, too much to process, and there was no story to what was going on. I know it was a Chicago street fight, but still, I'm a story guy, and I just wanted to see some story happening, why these people were doing all these crazy things. And you had a pretty bad botch in here. Animal's trying to do a pile driver to Farouk on a table, but he just kind of like puts him back on his feet, and they just like roll off the table. It looked bad. But this match was exciting at points. It was an Attitude Era style match, but I just didn't find investment in it. I didn't find me finding a story, a reasoning as to what these people were doing. But it ends with Legion of Doom and Ahmed Johnson clotheslining Crush with a 2x4, and they get the victory over the Nation of Domination. So it was. I didn't enjoy it, but it was okay. A lot of people enjoy this match a lot more than I do. Then you get the main event, The Undertaker versus Psycho Sid for the WWF Championship. Psycho Sid has no fucking business being in the main event of WrestleMania. However, he does have business doing fucking commentary. Could you imagine how exciting Raw would be every week if Psycho Sid was on commentary, listening to Psycho Sid talk on commentary every week? WWE, please get Psycho Sid on commentary. We need him. I think that would save the company. It would be fucking epic. Let's face it. But yeah, you had Shawn Michaels doing a guest commentary in this match. Before this WrestleMania, he lost his smile, but I guess, he found enough of a smile to come back and be a part of WrestleMania. But I don't want to talk about this match, really. This match was shit. This was one of the worst main events ever at WrestleMania. Really bad match. Psycho Sid just sucks. I want to talk about something that happened before the match. You have Bret Hart come out, and he's in the ring cutting a promo, and he's saying, Shawn Michaels, you're pussyfooting your fake injury, losing your smile and all this, calling Shawn Michaels out. Then he's bashing on the Undertaker and Psycho Sid. And I'd rather talk about Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and all that rather than this match. I mean, oh God, 1997, that storyline with Bret Hart and Stone Cold, and then when you had the new Hart Foundation and Shawn Michaels teaming up with Stone Cold to take out the Hart Foundation, yet Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels couldn't get along. Holy shit, wow, that was such great TV. That was the Attitude Era. That, to me, was the start of the Attitude Era, like I said again. I mean, just breaking down of this face-heel thing. It wasn't about faces and heels. It was about all these guys in this business just having grudges with each other. It was like being a fly on the wall watching reality TV. This was just so great. And Bret Hart had his best year in 1997, according to me. I know he didn't like the direction that the company was going in. He didn't like the Attitude Era type controversial, raunchy TV. But I don't understand why, because Bret Hart was an awesome heel in 1997. He would have fit perfectly in the Attitude Era if it wasn't for the screw job. I would have loved to, because his stuff with Canada, Team Canada, and bashing America, that was just so epic and so controversial. And then you had Shawn Michaels on the other side being a heel and bashing Bret Hart and bashing Canada. And Shawn Michaels, one of the most underrated heels of all time. According to me, he was one of the top heels ever. He never really worked as a face. His face run in 1996 as champion just didn't work because outside of the ring, he just wasn't a face. Like in the Iron Man match, you had him telling the cameraman to get the fuck out of the way, but he's a face, so it didn't make sense, because he's just a natural dick in real life at that point. It didn't work with him being a face, but as a heel, spot fucking on. One of the best heels of all time. And just that whole Hart Foundation, DX, and then when you had Stone Cold in it too, oh my God, epic TV, just phenomenal. But yeah, that being said, this match was not good. It was horrible. Psycho Sid has no business being in the main event. Very slow, just Psycho Sid beating down The Undertaker for the whole match. Of course, The Undertaker wins with a Tombstone Piledriver, wins the WWF Championship, extends his streak, and there you go. So yeah, WrestleMania 13, I gotta say, not a good show, I understand. But to me, for personal childhood reasons, I did find it enjoyable. I never found it boring. And I just loved how we were so close to the Attitude Era. Just one more year and everything would be in place. So I'm going to give this a 5.5 out of 10. That's not a good grade, even though people will be saying I'm probably overrating it. But, you know, you had that epic match on here, and just the fact that so much towards the Attitude Era was starting to take shape. It just needed a focus. It needed direction. Everything was there. You just needed to put it into place, and seeing that happen and knowing what's about to come, I enjoyed it. That's why I give it probably a little or a lot higher than other people do. So there you go. There's my review. Next up, WrestleMania 14. That is when the Attitude Era really is in effect, and that's when, you know, the stuff that I grew up with, to me, the greatest era of all time, the greatest period of wrestling of all time happens. Oh boy, WrestleMania 14, the first WrestleMania I ever saw. I was 7 years old. Oh boy, the memories of that. Stick around for that one. I am Jay Shady, the voice of reason. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later.